I want to talk about stealth camping. I have been stealth camping for over a decade now, and I determined its usefulness in situations. Initially, I found the usefulness in situations where I couldn't find a campground. I'm going up into the mountains camping. Made a trip up into Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm going to ride the Dragon, I'm going to ride Moonshiner, I'm going to ride Blue Ridge, I'm going to ride the Skyway. And I'm up on Blue Ridge. I think that was my first trip to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Anyway, my plan was to take my camping rig and throw it out in a campground. As soon as the sun started going down, I was going to go camp out on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Pisgah National Forest has a campground on the Blue Ridge Parkway. I was really excited. What could go wrong? Except I pull in and there's no vacancies, none. And I'm thinking, I'll just slip into one of these other slots. Nobody will know. And then I start thinking, crap, man, I'm tired. I'm going to have to keep riding down the parkway in the middle of the night. And it was night. I think it was probably close to 10. About that time, I started thinking, damn it, I'm just going to throw my tent off on the side of the road. I'm going to throw it off in a corner somewhere where nobody can see me. And I kept driving. I must have ridden another 50 miles down the parkway trying to find a place to put my tent. And place to put your tent is not a problem on the parkway. It's got this nice green golf course almost all the way down. With some exceptions, there's some tight and narrow spots that you can't pitch a tent, but almost all the way down this nice big flowing wide shoulder on both sides, nice grassy lawn. But back then I'd never stealth camped before. I wasn't about to put my tent out on the parkway with all this traffic coming by, and somebody's going to stop and wake me up in the middle of the night and say, what are you doing? You're under arrest. That's what was in my head. So I'm thinking, I'll find a spot where it's kind of hidden out of the way. Nobody can see me. And I'll pitch my tent. And I found the best spot that I could find that night and pitch my tent. It was in a long chicane, like an S-turn. Come around the corner, you're going up the hill, and just before that final left turn, there was a little island, an island of small shrubs and trees, just enough to kind of block my bike. I could hide my bike behind it, but I couldn't really hide the tent behind it. But I figured late at night, unless something was reflecting, nobody was going to be able to see me back there. That's what I thought. So I pitched the tent and didn't think anything about it. Had a duffel bag. I threw that over the back of the bike so none of the reflectors would reflect. And I took out my camera and started filming cars driving by. I'm thinking, man, I've got it made. Nobody can see me back here. Even though I could see them, if I'm standing behind the tent, with the tent in between me and the drivers, they can see me full on. Maybe like half the tent and a piece of the bike. But I'm thinking, what's the odds? I'm really tired. I pitched the tent. It was a great spot. Man, it was a really nice camping spot. And so I think that started the bug. And once the bug was started, I started thinking of ways to camp wherever I damn well please. So then I became highly motivated to be able to pitch my tent anywhere. With this thinking, my camping experience quickly evolved into hammock camping because it eliminates the need for big, wide, flat spots for me to pop a tent out. Also, I can camp on a slope. Also, I can camp with a hammock like that and disguise my being there at all. I can completely disguise myself, my presence. I can disguise my presence of being there. So with all this said, ever since ever since that experience, I've been highly motivated to find good camping spots wherever they were. And I try to be legal. I try to camp in the forest. I try my best to camp on public land, number one. I don't want to camp in somebody's backyard. I wouldn't want somebody camping in my backyard. So there's a big difference in the stealth camping that some people do and what I do. I would almost never camp on private property, although I probably have, I just don't know. I try to camp on the right of way on the roads as much as I can, or in the national forest, or state lands, or like I'm camping right now. I'm camping in this is Corps of Engineer property, federal property next to a Corps of Engineer park, really close to a boat landing, and there's a hiking trail down here. So I try to access public property. That way, hopefully I won't get shot. And I can understand some landowner coming up and going, what the fuck are you doing on my property? My children are right over there. I get it. I completely get it. So you're probably not going to see me doing much of anything like that. I don't want to get shot. I don't want to piss people off. I don't want a bad taste in people's mouth about me having a good time. And this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm having a good time. So I'm out here having fun. And I don't want somebody having the opposite of fun just because I'm on their property. So maybe I should talk about a philosophy of stealth camping versus camping in a campground. Number one, I try to camp on public property. So in reality, it's really our land. If you're a citizen of United States, there's a good chance that the place that I'm camping belongs to you and me, not some private landowner. So we got that. There may be some rules in place that say we don't want you camping in these areas or only camp in designated spots. I understand those. I just disagree with them. The kind of camping that I usually do, I don't leave a trace. You don't know I'm there, typically. I'm not going to cover up my camp spot because I don't want anything to catch fire after I leave. But other than that, this is going to be probably the only thing that you can see. That, maybe some collected wood, but there's not going to be much left when I leave. Unlike what happens with typically people don't want, the government agencies don't want people camping for a reason, typically because they make a mess. They leave their beer cans, they leave their shit, they dump a bunch of trash. I understand all that. That's not me. So since I'm just going out in the woods on public property, I think I feel very strongly that I have a right to camp there, and I'm gonna camp there. So a little bit of philosophy that I have that maybe somebody might disagree with, and I understand why you would, but campgrounds are not for everybody, and I'm one of those people. So when I say I'm going camping, people misunderstand. A lot of people think of camping as going to a campground, to a space that has a number on it, and you go talk to the camp host, or you register at some booth, or you pick up some slip and put a money in the slot, and you go park next to some other redneck, in between a bunch of rednecks, across the street from a bunch of rednecks playing Sweet Home Alabama. That's not the experience that I'm looking for. When I go out into the woods, when I go camping, I'm going to get away from people. I'm not going to join a bunch of people that are getting out in the woods to enjoy the noise and ruckus of other people being out in the woods. I'd rather just stay home. It's more peaceful. It's more peaceful staying home and watching TV. So my experience of camping apparently is much different than everybody else's. I'm going out here for the peace and quiet. I'm coming out here to listen to the birds and the squirrels and the wind. There's an occasional car that drives by. There's an occasional boat that drives by. But I'm not listening to some guy, listening to rap music over here. So I don't have to endure that. That's not what I come out here for. Therefore, I like camping in the middle of nowhere. Dispersed camping typically means designated. You can camp anywhere along this road or over in this area, but we don't want you camping, over here because that's protected. Or if you grab a backpack and go into the woods, you should be able to camp anywhere you damn well please. Now, taking a motorcycle anywhere you damn well please is kind of a risky situation. I don't like doing that anyway. I like staying on trails. I have been caught riding my motorcycle down hiking trails, which is another completely separate issue. In Idaho, I don't think I've seen this anywhere else. I think in Colorado. Idaho and Colorado may be the only places I know, but Idaho, it's all over the place. It's a shared trail. You go out into the public lands in Idaho, it's a shared trail. You get on it, it's got a whole list of, hiking, bicycles, horses, motorcycles. Some of them have four-wheelers. It's amazing. I guess because there's not that many people out there. But it's amazing because you see just the opposite here in the South. It's the no bicycles, no motorcycles, no four-wheelers, none of this. The only way you're getting into this trail is if you're walking, and it's very frustrating. So I have been known to take a motorcycle down a hiking trail in the South. I've been known to take a motorcycle down a trail in Idaho every time, and I love the filter. The one filter that I've seen out there is four-wheelers. You'll be going down a trail, a big wide trail, big enough for a four-wheeler, nice trails, and then they'll have some posts in the middle of the trail, and it'll say no four-wheelers, because it's single track, and it's freaking awesome. And that's the filter. It's not four-wheelers are not allowed on this trail, it's four-wheelers are not going to be able to make it, because this is a single track on the side of a mountain, and you're going to roll your four-wheeler and die. So here's the filter, the gate that's basically stopping four-wheelers, and a big sign. And if you're goofy enough to try to take it, or past that, shame on you. I don't think they're probably not going to write you a ticket, but just because it's Idaho.
So that's a quick take on my perspective about stealth camping. You may disagree with me. If you live out west, you're probably going to disagree with me because there's so much overwhelming public land available. You can camp just about anywhere you feel like it. It's not the case back east. Once you cross the Rockies, there's very little public land, and the public land that we do have is very restricted access, and that's where I travel and live mostly, in the east. If you live in the west, I'm very jealous, and you're very lucky to have access to so much public land to be able to just camp and do whatever you want to out there, besides burning the place down, and that still happens every year. But it's just my perspective. You may disagree with it. If you want to give me a well thought out reason why I should change my behavior, I'll be glad to entertain your comments. But I don't think you're going to change the way I behave, because I really enjoy it, and I highly encourage you to do the one thing that I left out of this video. Is it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun camping where you're not supposed to, being naughty a little bit. I've never been caught to this point, and I expect to be doing more stealth camping because I want to show people the craft of hiding yourself in the woods, and how much fun it can be. So look forward to some more stealth camping videos soon, and check out my other camping adventures. Thanks for watching.